What if Anakin Skywalker refused to execute Order 66? Let's explore the depths of this scenario in the video.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Anakin looks at the younglings and his friends who are hiding behind the chairs. His orders are clear, no survivors. But as he stares into the child's eyes, he sees the emotions playing on his face. Fear, desperation, but also hope and respect. Though the Jedi Council might have never given him that, many in the Order still saw him as an equal. His lightsaber feels heavy in his hand, and he slips it back into his robe. Anakin bends down and places a hand on the youngling's shoulder. Listen very carefully. You were to find a place to hide and stay there until it's clear. I will ensure that no clones enter this area. The younglings all seem heartened to have Anakin around, and it makes his heart clench about what he did. But he hides his emotions and makes his way out. He tells the clones that he's already secured this area and that no one is to enter, as he wants to inspect the Jedi Council chambers personally after the battle. Anakin soon departs along with most of his troops, leaving only a small garrison. For almost a day, the younglings remain hidden until they hear the sound of combat outside. The children gather by the windows to see Yoda and Obi-Wan fighting the clones stationed in the courtyard. As they clear the area, the pair begin searching for survivors. To their surprise, they find a group of Jedi younglings running down the hall. The children rush to greet their masters as the pair exchange looks. They searched through the entire temple and found no signs of anyone, but these untrained children managed to escape.
Young ones, how did you survive?
Master Skywalker protected us. He led the clones away while we hid in the council chambers.
Anakin was here?
The younglings all nod, as they had received no word from Anakin, and more importantly, many of the Jedi weren't killed with blaster fire, but lightsaber wounds, and they had found footage of Anakin cutting them down. So why did Anakin help these young ones? However, they do not have time to question it, as they must find him first. Obi-Wan decides to confront Anakin, while Yoda takes the younglings to safety. Thankfully, Yoda finds help from Bail Organa, who saw the destruction of the Jedi Temple and ferries their survivors to safety. They regroup in a far-off medical station where Padme is staying. When Obi-Wan returns, he comes with grim news. He found Anakin, but the Jedi had gone over to the dark side, and he was forced to defeat him. However, Yoda was unable to defeat the Emperor, meaning that Palpatine remained in power. To make matters worse, Padme succumbs to the birthing process, leaving two more younglings in the group, Luke and Leia.
Unsafe we are, so long as the Empire exists. Exile, we must go.
But what of the younglings? They are not meant for life on the run.
I have agreed to take Leia, but bringing this many children to Alderaan will raise questions, especially since the Empire already suspects my involvement.
Put this burden on you. We shall not. Take the children with me. I shall.
And I shall care for Luke. When the time comes, we shall bring them together and restore the Jedi Order.
The others agree with this plan, and Yoda heads to Dagobah with the children. There, he continues his training with Qui-Gon. Because of them, the Jedi Order can continue, but it cannot do so as it has before. The rise of the Empire has made the flaws of the Jedi Order clear, and the old Jedi Master takes a different approach to training them. Taking everything he learned from Qui-Gon and his experience in the wellspring of life, he begins training the younglings in the ways of the living force, just as they should have. However, things are not going so well for Darth Vader. Although only a few younglings escaped, it does not escape Palpatine's notice, as several clones report how Vader locked down the council chambers, and how a few children managed to escape. He pieces together what happened, and determines that Vader has not fully embraced the dark side. This only fuels Palpatine's resentment towards his apprentice, and he becomes determined to squash that weakness from him. For the next few years, he sends Vader out on missions to hunt down the remaining Jedi, ensuring that Vader kills them and punishing him for every failure. This hardens his apprentice's heart. For the one act of compassion, he spends years of punishment and makes him determined to hunt down these lost Jedi and finish them. Despite all his efforts, he is unable to find the younglings or his former master. They all remain hidden, growing and honing their skills as the Jedi Order exists in secret. Even Obi-Wan occasionally visits to see their progress and helps them train. The more he watches them, the more he considers the possibility of allowing Luke to train with them. He initially hesitates, as one of his worries is that it will draw attention to Luke. But on Dagobah, they can train without prying eyes. This leads Obi-Wan to decide to try and convince Luke to join him. He explains the situation to Owen and Beru, who say that the decision is up to Luke. They eventually get Luke to meet with Obi-Wan.
There's something important I need to tell you. Something about your father, and about who you are.
My father? I thought he was a navigator on a spice freighter. You've told me stories before.
That's what you've been told, yes. But the truth is far more complicated. Your father was Anakin Skywalker, a great Jedi Knight, the most powerful I've ever known.
Wait, a Jedi? Like in the old stories?
Yes, Luke. He was one of the best. The galaxy changed after the Clone Wars, when the Empire rose to power, and, well, he changed too.
It's true, Luke. We kept this from you because we wanted you to have a normal life, away from all the fighting. But Ben's right. Your father was special. I saw it for myself.
Why are you telling me this now?
Because the time has come for you to understand your destiny. The power that flows through your father. It flows through you as well. You are strong with the Force, Luke, and the galaxy needs you. I wish to have trained you to harness this power. You have the potential to become greater than even your father was.
Greater than my father? But why me?
Luke, it's your decision. I've always done my best to protect you, but we want you to know the truth.
If I go with you, what will happen to Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru? To everything I know.
They'll be safe, and you won't be alone, Luke. You'll have me and others who can help. But this path isn't without danger.
I'll think about it, Ben. I need time.
His uncle and Ben leave the room, letting him consider everything that happened. He's wanted nothing more than to get away from Tatooine. But this is something he's never imagined. It's far greater than he thought and far more dangerous. He thinks of everything they say and eventually returns, saying that he will go with them. When they return to Dagobah, he is surprised to see that there are multiple Jedi training there. Yoda welcomes Luke and invites him to train with the others. Although he is younger than most, Luke proves to be talented once he understands what the Force is, able to catch up and eventually surpass his classmates. When they hear that Luke is Anakin's son, many of them tell Luke about their experiences with his father and share tales of his heroism and bravery. This fills Luke with pride as he learns of his respected legacy and further motivates him to continue training and improving. However, none mentioned what happened to Luke's father and how he became Darth Vader, as Yoda says he will only tell Luke when the time comes. Instead, they simply say they never saw him after the war, whenever Luke asks. Luke quickly becomes Yoda's best pupil, with Obi-Wan teaching him how to forge and use his lightsaber, while Yoda shows Luke the ways of the Force. Instead of the rigid Jedi training, he shows Luke how to channel the living Force through meditation and getting in touch with all beings around them to channel their energy. It is initially rather difficult for Luke, as he grew up on the desolate Tatooine, and being surrounded by so many people is a huge change. But he adapts well and soon becomes the top student. His success makes Obi-Wan consider whether it is time for Leia to begin her training and reach out to Bail Organa. Although reluctant, Bail gives up his daughter. He understands the necessity and prepares her for departure. These preparations do not go unnoticed, as Vader and Palpatine have long suspected Bail's sympathies to the rebels, and have the Tantive 4 tracked. For the most part, the ship's journey is uneventful, but as it lands and deploys Princess Leia, Vader strikes, ordering a squadron of TIE bombers to attack. They descend onto the jungle, unleashing a torrent of bombs on the ship before it can escape. From the trees, Luke and Obi-Wan's eyes widen as they see the ship go up in flames. Vader walks through the smoke and advances in their direction, his red lightsaber roaring to life, but he faces resistance almost immediately. It is as if the forest itself comes to life and attacks. As he steps into the trees, the ground swallows his foot up and leaves him immobilized. Dozens of vines shoot out and try to strike him while he's vulnerable. The Dark Lord waves his lightsaber back and forth, slashing them apart as he uses one to pull him off the ground. The barrage of vines does not stop and continues to rain down attacks on him, forcing Vader to advance and fight until he hears a roar behind him. He turns to see a pair of bog wings flying towards him, claws outstretched as they try to scratch him. Vader ducks under their attacks and watches as they circle to move again. This time he is ready and swings his lightsaber in a pair of quick slashes that sends them tumbling into the ground. As they stumble, footsteps grow louder as the young Jedi attack. The Dark Lord narrows his eyes as he spots the attackers. There is something familiar in them, and he gazes into their eyes. He immediately recognizes that these are the same younglings he saved years ago. Excitement builds up in him, as he's waited years for this moment. The younglings scramble to surround him, drawing on each other's energy. They all attack at once, allowing their lightsabers to turn into blurs as they attack him all in unison. But Vader's very form seems to become blurred as he counters all their attacks. He moves swiftly, having spent years fighting multiple opponents at once. Vader sweeps through them with a flurry of lightsaber strikes, cutting through their defenses effortlessly. The swamp crackles with the clash of energy before unleashing a powerful shockwave that throws them back. Rather than attack again, the Jedi turn and retreat into the woods, although Luke remains and readies his lightsaber. This Jedi isn't familiar to Vader, and the Dark Lord lunges at him. Luke's blue lightsaber slashes at Vader's red. His attacks are quick, but his father meets them with precise and brutal counterattacks. Every attack is calculated, and he throws Luke off balance and stumbles to the ground. Before the Sith Lord can advance, Luke raises his hand towards the swamp, and a huge vine lifts from underneath Vader's feet, throwing him off balance. He barely leaps aside as the vine swings at him. It smashes a tree, and Vader directs it to fall on top of the vine, keeping him pinned as he lunges towards Luke. This time he is too slow, and the blow strikes him across the side. The Jedi screams and tumbles to the ground.
Is this the best Obi-Wan has taught you?
I won't let you hurt them. I won't let you hurt anyone like you hurt my father.
Foolish boy. You cannot stop me.
Vader's lightsaber hums as he raises it, prepared to strike Luke down. But before he can land the final blow, a thick mass of vines suddenly bursts from the ground, wrapping around his arms and legs and pulling him backward. The younglings gather their strength, fight back once more, their eyes glowing as they channel the living force. Birds and creatures of the swamp dive at Vader. They swarm the Dark Lord who struggles to get free, biting and pecking at him while the vines keep him trapped. For a moment, he's left trapped and struggles to break out. The Dark Lord takes a deep breath, channeling the Force and unleashing a shockwave that shatters the vines and throws the animals aside. Vader rips off the vines and begins to step forward. Luke backs away with his arms held high, but Vader lifts him with the Force and pulls him closer, preparing to run him through. Just as Vader prepares to finish Luke, Yoda steps forward, his silhouette appearing from the fog. Beside him, Obi-Wan stands ready with his lightsaber in hand.
Anakin, please don't do this. I once saw there was no good left in you, but these younglings proved me wrong. Please, show that to me now.
This boy is nothing to me. I will finish him.
Nothing? The truth, it is not. Look into his eyes.
Vader turns to face Luke, his eyes fixated on him, and starts to glare. But then, as he focuses and finds something familiar in his eyes, as he looks deep into the Force, he realizes the connection. Vader's hand trembles, and he drops Luke to the ground with a gasp.
My son? No, that is not possible.
See, you do not. Clouded by darkness you are. But before you, your own flesh stands.
Son? What are you talking about?
Luke, your father didn't die. At least not in the way you think. He was turned into a Sith Lord.
Vader takes a step back, the revelation crashing down on him. Doubt begins to form, cracking his connection to the dark side as his lightsaber trembles.
My son.
Destroy him, and destroy yourself, you will. Sever the last connection with Padme, you will. Your son, he is. Part of you, there still is, Skywalker.
I cannot. I must finish this. He is the last of the Jedi.
Vader steps back, the weight of Yoda's words sinking in. His lightsaber deactivates with a hiss. A flicker of Anakin Skywalker shines within him. Father? The swamp falls eerily silent, the battle forgotten. Vader turns away, his thoughts a storm of conflict and regret, the truth gnawing at him.
Time for you, there still is. But make the choice, you must.
As Vader looks at his son, he shakes his head and drops his lightsaber to the ground, feeling a wave of shame washing over him. The rest of the Jedi gather around Vader, who lies there. Unfortunately, they do not have long to dwell on this problem, as Palpatine will likely realize something is wrong when Vader fails to respond. That means they must strike while they still have a chance. Although Obi-Wan wishes to continue training Luke, they are short on time. As they prepare for their attack, Obi-Wan spends all his free time training Luke, teaching him as much as he can before they strike. However, Luke finds himself joined by Obi-Wan, whose connection to the Force was severely weakened, but he learns that summoning the living Force can strengthen his connection. But as they train, they prepare for their final attack. Using Vader's security codes, Obi-Wan, Vader, Luke, and a handful of Jedi lead a strike team back to Coruscant to confront Palpatine. The massive doors of Palpatine's throne room on Coruscant crash open as Vader, Luke, and Obi-Wan charge inside. Their lightsabers ignite, blue and crimson blades shimmering in the dark as the Emperor leaps to his feet and ignites his weapon. With a flick of his wrist, Palpatine unleashes a torrent of lightning toward them. However, rather than hit the trio, the lightning forks and flashes harmlessly past them as the other Jedi redirects the attack. The rest of them close the distance on Palpatine, who must use his lightsaber to block against their attacks. Vader and Obi-Wan both press him hard, giving Palpatine little room to counterattack. Luke is a bit slower, as his inexperience prevents him from truly pressing Palpatine. This gives the Emperor room to begin pushing back.
Luke, keep the pressure on him.
Luke charges at Palpatine with a flurry of fast strikes, his lightsaber a blur of blue. However, Palpatine dodges and deflects each strike with his crimson blade as he analyzes the patterns and then unleashes another counterattack that sends Luke reeling. Rather than press further, both Obi-Wan and Vader step back as the other Jedi unleash a powerful burst of the Force. This sends Palpatine reeling and stumbling over his desk. Behind him, the glass shatters and nearly throws him out, but Palpatine catches himself. Luke rushes at him, aiming for a killing blow, but Palpatine sidesteps, twirling his lightsaber, and counters with a vicious slash towards Luke's head. Luke barely ducks under the attack and thrusts his lightsaber up, catching the Emperor's robe, but Palpatine retaliates with a powerful force push that sends Luke crashing into a pillar. Obi-Wan leaps in before Palpatine can follow up, his blade aimed at Palpatine's chest. Palpatine parries quickly, but he's left unable to press against Luke. Palpatine grins wickedly as he disengages, sending a bolt of lightning directly into Obi-Wan's chest, knocking him back. The other Jedi try to help him up and rush at Palpatine, but the Emperor's defenses are impeccable, and he parries every blow before bursting into action. None of the Jedi can defend against his attack. The nearest ones fall, and those who don't stumble back. Suddenly, Vader rushes forward, slamming his lightsaber into Palpatine's defenses. The force of it sends the Emperor staggering back. He blocks as Vader's relentless assault continues, red saber flashing violently in the dim room. Each blow from Vader reverberates through the chamber as the former Sith Lord channels his rage into raw power.
You think you can stand against me, Vader? I made you.
You turned me into a monster. and I will destroy you for it.
Palpatine's eyes flash with anger, and with a sudden burst of speed, he sends a lightning-infused strike at Vader, forcing him back momentarily. Vader holds firm, blocking the blow with his lightsaber as sparks rain down around him. Luke rushes to his defense and slashes Palpatine across the side, causing him to break his attack. The Emperor whirls around just in time to block Luke's next attack. Their blades clash violently, locking together. They hold firm, but Luke cannot push further. Instead, he twists his arm aside and slashes Palpatine across the arm. In a flash of rage, Palpatine summons all his dark side energy and unleashes it in a massive blast of Force lightning. Luke, caught off guard, is thrown across the room, his saber slipping from his grasp as he crashes into the far wall with a thud. His body convulses in pain as the lightning arcs around him. Without hesitation, Vader charges at Palpatine, his lightsaber swinging with raw power, battering through Palpatine's defenses. The Emperor, caught off guard by the sheer ferocity of Vader's attack, struggles to keep up. Each of Vader's strikes sends Palpatine back. The Dark Lord is forced into retreat. Obi-Wan, regaining his footing, moves to flank Palpatine, his saber weaving in perfect harmony with Vader's. Together, they overwhelm the Sith Lord, their blades moving in deadly synchronicity. They drive him further towards the edge of his office, towards the open air. Seeing this and still reeling from the attack, Luke clutches his side and lunges forward. With a pair of powerful blows, Vader and Obi-Wan lock Palpatine in place, for Luke to suddenly throw his hands forward and unleash a Force push. Obi-Wan and Vader plant their feet on the ground in anticipation, but Palpatine has no preparation and stumbles as his legs are lifted off the ground. The Emperor gasps and tumbles over the edge, leaving him screaming as he disappears down into the abyss below. The three of them peer over the edge, looking for any sign of him, but with the busyness of the Coruscant skyline, he is almost impossible to find. However, Vader closes his eyes and feels as if a dark energy disappears in the air. He stands a bit straighter as the aura fades, and he begins to smile.
He is gone. I can sense it.
That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.